The greatest tragedies of a human life often do not begin with loud explosions or visible disasters. They usually commence in silence, a dense, suffocating silence that no one on the outside notices immediately. Imagine a child, perhaps only 7 years old, standing alone in a living room, eyes wide, staring at a parent who should be a pillar of strength, but is instead crumbling right before them. This disintegration can take many forms. It might be the specter of addiction gnawing at an adult's reason. It might be the sudden eruption of baseless anger that turns a home into a minefield. Or, more terrifyingly, it might be the hollow, soulless silence of a parent, too exhausted and broken to be truly present for their child. In that wordless moment, an ancient biological mechanism within the child's immature mind is triggered, like the click of a safety lock snapping shut forever. A thought, or rather a survival command, etches itself into the subconscious. If I don't hold everything together, no one will. That is the precise moment a child begins to disappear. This disappearance is not physical. The child is still there, eating, sleeping, and attending school. But psychologically, the light of innocence begins to fade. They smile more to please others, yet cry less to avoid being a burden. They become silent shadows in their own homes. Instead of living in carefree oblivion, these children develop a painful, supernatural ability, the capacity to read the room before daring to speak. They transform into the emotional thermostat for the entire household. If a father is angry, the child becomes docile to soothe him. If a mother is sad, the child becomes a jester to entertain. They regulate the temperature of the home's mood, sacrificing their own emotions to maintain a fragile stability for the adults. The consequence is that these children become miniature adults long before their brains and souls are truly ready. Ironically, the outside world looks at this distorted picture and showers them with praise. You are so mature. You are so responsible. You are so strong. These accolades unwittingly become chains, binding the child tighter to the role. No one stops to ask the most important question. At what cost has this premature maturity been purchased? This is the silent pain, the invisible grief of those forced to grow up too fast. These effects do not vanish when you blow out the candles on your 18th birthday. They shape the core of who you are, infiltrating how you love, how you work, and how you value yourself. Developmentally, this phenomenon is known as parentification. It is a reversal of the natural order where children are forced to provide emotional support to adults instead of receiving it. The child is stripped of the right to be cared for and instead becomes the caregiver, the peacekeeper, the therapist, and the protector of their own parents. This is not merely unhealthy. It fundamentally rewires the developing brain. When a child is consistently placed in a position of responsibility for emotional regulation, either their own or others, the brain forms a state called hypervigilance. Your nervous system becomes stuck in survival mode, constantly scanning for potential danger. Your life becomes a journey of walking on eggshells. You learn to hold your breath, to move softly, to observe every furrow of a brow and every shift in tone of voice. You believe that if you are careful enough, you can prevent catastrophe. In such an environment, you learn a distorted and cruel lesson about love. Love is a transaction. You give peace, and if you are lucky, they will pay you back with safety. You learn that your own needs are dangerous, burdensome, and inconvenient. Conversely, the needs of others are urgent commands and supreme priorities. Therefore, you disappear emotionally. In the empty space where your true self should be, a performative version of you grows, one that functions efficiently. You become the good child, the quiet high achiever, the friend who listens but never shares. You wear that mask so convincingly that over time, even you forget it is a mask. Yet deep beneath that perfect exterior, an ache remains. The inner child you buried never died. They are still there, screaming in silence the stinging question, why didn't anyone protect me? If you do not understand what happened, you will spend your adult life repeating old survival patterns, the very things that once saved your life, but are now slowly killing you. In adulthood, the symptoms become more complex and subtle. You may become hyper-independent. You refuse help, push people away, or never feel truly safe entering a romantic relationship. In your subconscious, relying on someone equals danger. If you need no one can let you down. You build fortified walls and call it strength, but in reality, it is a terrifying fear of vulnerability. You might feel emotionally numb, even in happy moments. Joy feels foreign, as if it is unearned, or you may even view it as a signal of danger. You are always waiting for the other shoe to drop, waiting for disaster to strike immediately after laughter. You struggle with rest because you believe productivity is the only measure of your self-worth. If you are doing nothing, you feel useless. Rest brings guilt. You only feel worthy when you are contributing, fixing, or working yourself to exhaustion. Most frightening of all, you may not realize you are still living in survival mode. When dysfunction is normalized early on, your nervous system accepts chaos as the baseline. Stillness feels wrong to you. Peace feels suspicious. Healthy love feels like a debt you will have to pay for dearly. This is not just sadness, it is complex trauma that reshapes how you view the world, and more importantly, how you view yourself. One might ask, why would a child willingly take on such a heavy role? Why do they accept the burden of adulthood? The answer lies in the deepest biological instinct of humanity. Children will do anything for attachment, even if it means abandoning themselves. This choice is never conscious. It is a biological imperative. In the absence of safety, the child sacrifices authenticity for belonging. If being a good child helps me be loved by mom, I will be good. If silence keeps dad from getting angry, I will be mute. This is not weakness. It is intelligence. It is a brilliant survival instinct. But the tragedy is that the strategies that saved you, the now imprison you. We see society filled with high-functioning adults who are internally puppeteered by neglected, wounded children. We overachieve to buy love. We stay silent to avoid abandonment. We take care of the whole world, but secretly wish someone would just ask if we are okay. There is a secret fantasy that those who grew up too fast always carry. That one day, someone will notice you are not as strong as the exterior you pretend to be. That perhaps, just perhaps, you will finally be allowed to fall apart and be held. That is the unmet need, not of the adult in you, but of the child who never got to be a child. The first step to healing is not fixing, but witnessing. As long as you do not acknowledge and validate what happened, you will continue to gaslight yourself with thoughts like, "It wasn't that bad," "Others had it worse," or "I turned out fine." But fine is just another mask, and deep down you know it. Children stripped of their childhood grow up into adults who never feel safe, even in the calmest rooms. They become lovers who cannot trust softness. They become givers who do not know how to receive. They are the ones who apologize for crying, flinch when complimented, and confuse exhaustion with success. If childhood trained you to be strong at the expense of being soft, to be quiet instead of honest, to fix others while ignoring your own fractures, what kind of life do you inherit? You inherit a life where you are always holding your breath, waiting for permission to finally collapse. But here is the brutal truth you must face. No one is coming to rescue the child you buried. No prince, no savior can do that. You, and only you, must go back and hold that child's hand. You must be the one to say the words no one ever said to you. You didn't deserve that. You were just a child. You are allowed to rest now. This is the beginning of shadow work. It is not acting or trying to fix things. It is not bypassing pain with fake positivity. It is turning toward the abandoned parts of yourself and saying, "I see you now, I hear you now, and I am not leaving." This process of reparenting is devastating because it asks you to feel the grief you never had time to feel in the past. It demands that you sit with the rage, the sorrow, and the unmet needs. You must weep for the birthdays where no one showed up. You must mourn the innocence lost while protecting people who should have protected you. But that grief is not weakness. It is proof that you are healing. What was once frozen is finally melting and falling away. Examine closely how this survival pattern manifests in your current life, subtly, tragically, and often invisibly. You might play the therapist in all your friendships, always listening to others' problems, but never letting anyone truly see you. You might be praised for your independence, seen as a solid pillar, but deep down you are terrified of being a burden. You might be stuck in relationships where you overfunction, always fixing, managing, over-explaining, and then wonder why you feel resentful and exhausted. You struggle with boundaries because saying no still feels like a betrayal. Remember, these are not your personality traits. They are coping strategies, learned and conditioned. And the good news is, what has been learned can be unlearned. But that only happens when you stop idolizing your strength and start honoring your wounds. One of the most powerful methods to begin this dismantling is to establish a direct dialogue with your inner child. Ask them, what did you need back then that you never got? You may hear answers echoing from your subconscious. I needed someone to tell me it wasn't my fault. I needed someone to ask how I was doing. I needed to play, rest, and laugh without fear. And then, very slowly, you begin to give those things to yourself, not to fix the past. The past is gone, but to stop reliving it every day in the present. This is how you stop seeking parents in your partners. This is how you stop mistaking anxiety for intuition. This is how you stop running from the child you were and the self you are becoming. Psychologist Carl Jung once famously said, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul." But shadow work demands that we face it, all of it. The neglected parts, the ashamed parts, the scared parts, and the angry parts. Because healing isn't about becoming someone new. Healing is remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. So if you are someone who grew up too fast, know this. Your maturity was never the problem. The problem was that you had no choice. You were forced to grow up to survive. But now, right at this moment, you have the power of choice. You can choose softness. You can choose to rest. You can choose to stop managing everyone else's emotions and start honoring your own. And this won't happen overnight. There will be days you feel like a child again, weak and scared. Good. That is the point. Let that child come home. Let them cry. Let them play. Let them finally be seen, because you are not broken. You are becoming whole. Perhaps for the first time in your life, you are finally growing up in the true sense of the word. Not through pressure, not through fear, but through truth. You may not have had a childhood, but you still have a vast future ahead of you. And this time, it is you, with all the understanding and compassion for yourself, who gets to write it.